When it comes to relationships, the lovely 5D mystics, functional adults, those of you in that enlightenment ideology, there is the emotional body that you learn to begin to work with. So with that in mind, clairs or no clairs, you are clear on choosing the heart body. How do you choose a heart body? The first time your heart's in the mix of something, child, teenager, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that will have taken place, a 5D body type will immediately maintain their heart body, the essence of life and love that you are. And that is a conscious choice of a person who's aware of their own physical body and sensations. It's not hard. The people who disconnect, that's where there's great trauma therapists that support people who have a disconnect with their emotional body. And in fact, that's where our 4D collective supports people in that sphere. And we will not be discussing that one here, but there's episodes on the differences between 4D and 5D. Just remember that when you are around a person who has emotional insecurity, low self-esteem equals I look up to you, I look down to you. It equals I don't have direct communication with you. It also equals I get charged. It can equal gaslighting, manipulation. It can equal all those which are tactics that are not evil. These are people who don't know how to handle their emotional body because they have not been able to mature it. So 4D or just anyone who is an adaptive child, emotionally speaking, you'll notice it because they're charged when they're coming at you, and it's in a way that is conflicting, not with you. I'm idealizing and I'm not. So again, they have separation consciousness. 5D is oneness. So I'm a human, you're a human. I have a heart, you have a heart. If my heart breaks, your heart breaks. I'm not going to do anything nasty. When it comes to the globe, it's a globe. We have a very specific way that it's set up. We don't create stories about battlefields that are not happening. That is where separation, again, consciousness is. The people who maintain oneness, they learn, and in fact, there's a lot of beautiful subject matter experts that have explained how our brain works when we are in a flow state. Selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness is where the 5D don't move into fear. We move immediately into equanimity because we know home in our bodies. We do not know fear because we know our ventral vagal nervous system in our body, and we navigate our attachment system. So we don't go into defense mode. And this is something I'm trying to make very clear because we know of a differentiated self. Everybody has different drivers, but there are 3, and there are some that will be more dominant than others. And so there's groups that want bonding or certainty. And then there's groups instead who are driven by self-agency and being able to then know I'm a differentiated self, I link with you, I ain't you, and I work with my emotion as pain or sensations, whatever comes up in my body, I don't disconnect. Okay, so this is where not everybody, obviously we know this, chooses to disconnect from the restorative embodied self. No infant chooses their unresolved trauma, nor do the parents or the household or any of the human species. The whole scale of evil, 1 to 22, Michael Stone, thank you. They are all people who could use a good trauma, somatic, sensory motor, updated good therapist, not the ancient ones who ignore the emotional body and who know nothing about the window of tolerance or the nervous system or the attachment system. So a 5D mystic or functional adult knows they're never alone because they're never alone within their own heart. They do not disconnect from being a heart body. In fact, they maintain an alignment with their values. As the mystery of life unfolds, they do not shame, blame, fault, or revenge. We don't cut people out. We actually have the magic working through us. Why? Because we don't ever lose the power to know that you and I are basically brothers and sisters, and I will not look up or down. I will look straight at you. And on that note, this is also why 5D mystics don't need to go off into the ethers of somewhere, because we actually appreciate every 24 hours we get. And instead of using our time in areas that are equated to human suffering, we choose to use our time to support people who want to instead expand consciousness and to emotionally mature, and so to move out of their human suffering. And on that note, clairs for the mystics is the opportunity to master their emotional body. But 4D collective, they get clairs and they think that they are foreseeing the future for everybody. And so they get into their little superhero or supervillain capes, and then there's the super rescuing. And this idea of us rescuing and having a mission, and this is the story that an inner child will appreciate. So adaptive children are, emotionally speaking, individuals who have not yet connected with their higher self. They have their charged state still active. Their teenager is usually the one leading the way. And if there's conflict with the 0-1-year-old, you'll find a person who, when presented with the opportunity to choose compassion for themselves by being given a hand, pain, resistance, fear, the aspects of what will be unique to every story will be chosen. So yes, many people choose fear, many people don't choose fear. It all depends on what a person will decide in the moment that those emotions arise. Since plenty watch movies that create superheroes, supervillains, and there's all these stereotypes about how human suffering is a must in order to ascend, people have these stories of shadow and light work, and they also are inclined to continue to create groups that support each other, of course, in those moments. So you have teenagers that are adults who come together and they support each other to get to that next step, which is what we have with the 4D collective. 5D collective, very different story. We don't need to reclaim a power. We never lost the power. That's because we've always, again, used the magic of our emotion. It's called the heart body. You are a compassionate Zen master, and you're never alone, even when you might be alone. And on that note, we don't have enemies. We have what is called a lovely time. It's 2023, and it's beautiful to be here and see the technology, the sciences, everything that humanity has created that can support longevity and a lot more. We do have groups of people, of course, that have created, if you will, imbalances are created because of ignorance, and ignorance is created not on purpose. Like we didn't know that we had an attachment system, and we didn't know about our nervous system, and still people don't believe in some of the updated, again, psychoeducators. I have people who are psychoeducators and they don't believe in somatics or sensorimotor. Go and check it out. It's okay for me to be the woo-woo lady, but when I see somebody who talks to me about having a degree, and then I talk to them about people that also have a degree and that are doing research and that are actively in the field, and you want to tell me that it's not true or it's not effective, I'm going to be like, okay, I think you should be back in school, and no license for you is what I'm hoping one day will happen, because if you're not staying up to date with what new information is out there and you're so closed-minded, there's your one focus. So the illusion land, that lovely people who do talk about spirituality, but apparently they're not aware when you're enamored with yourself. I'm special because I know more than anybody. We're all the same piece of energy, just in different forms. So we each bring an experience to each other. None of us actually are here to save anyone, even though this is the idea that people get with clairs and then they're motivated. And that's great for those who are motivated with heart-based energy, knowing we're here to support each other as a collective, to know you and I are peers. So not to look up or down to you, but to look straight at you, and to be a grown-up when we talk about our different social, political, religious, and any type of topic. And to know that the world keeps moving forward with us going to vote, with us going to do group, if you need, let's protest, whatever it is, everything that has already happened. So the 5D Mystic community is a different community because we don't disengage from knowing that we are a community in a world that wants to work with relationships. So again, no cutting cords, no karmics, no third parties, none of the stories of some people being good, some people being bad. If you're going to make a difference, the proactive making a difference means to create relationships with heart-based in the forefront. Heart-based means that you are going to trust each other. And if there's mistrust, that's A-okay, of course, but the mistrust that the 4D collective creates is one that is done within imagination land, because, the reality is there's not any of these stories that they tell. They're only in the behind the scenes. So 24 hours you affect each other's lives by being there for each other. Maturing the emotional body means you mature your physical body, which means you take steps to be a part of all that is lovely planet Earth. Infinite higher human consciousness potential experiences. Tune in for more and use that lovely left and right mode so that we can create more joy into this lovely planet. Have a great day.